Hi, my name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video, a bit of an overview, some basic information about a biscuit joiner. So get some tea and watch the video. Alright then, so in today's video I'm gonna cover on how this machine is actually built, what features it may have, and what are the biscuits exactly, and how to use this machine and what projects you can actually tackle with the help of this tool. Okay, so let's start with how this tool is actually built. At the end you've got the handle, that's the rear handle, and you've got the trigger here. To be able to actually press the trigger, in my case anyway, however, all the biscuit joiners are more or less the same, to be fair. So you've got the safety button here that you need to press first before you can actually press the trigger itself. Okay, next at the top you've got another handle. So this tool should be operated with both hands, one holding the trigger and one being at the top of the machine, having a nice and steady position with it so it doesn't move and shift on you as you're making the cut itself. On the other side I've got the dust port. You know, I tend to hook up this machine to my shop vac, however they usually come with a dust bag and they work usually quite well. Right, let's talk about the front of the machine itself, as this is the most important part here. That is basically your fence of the tool. So if you've got a piece of timber that, for example, you want to make the cut for the biscuit on here, you just places of that and that fence references the whole cut. So it's very important that it's set up correctly to whatever material you are actually plunging into. Okay, so that's the fence. Now there are a few alignments to this that you can do. First of all, on one side you can actually change the angle. At the minute I'm at 90 degrees, as you know, this is usually what you're going to be using this machine for. However, sometimes you may wish to set it up, for example, to 45-degree angle if you know, you're doing some miter joints, anything like that, and also to 0 degrees. So what that means, for example, if you've got two boards and you want to connect them just like so, so in an L shape like that, okay, you can then take the fence to 0 degrees and make the plunge cut just like so from the top. Okay, so it actually does give you a lot of options and a lot of ability to tackle different types of angles and different types of joints. Another important feature of the fence itself, it can actually move up or down, so that will accommodate different thicknesses of wood or different positions of the channel you want to cut in your workpiece. So it could be in the middle, could be a little bit higher, could be a little bit lower. It all depends what timber, what type of timber you're going to be using for your project. So in my case, that knob releases the ability for me to actually take the fence higher or lower, so I can make the plunge at the height I need it to be. The next feature is this knob just over here. It basically allows you to set up the depth of cut in this machine. Usually you will actually have only three options, 0, 10 and 20, and that is a reference to the biscuits that you're going to be using. Okay, usually they come in three sizes. 0 is the smallest, number 10 is in the middle, and number 20 will be the largest. To be fair, I never use the 20, and usually I go for the 10. However, in my case, the depth gauge I've got here has got different settings, far more settings than normal, and that will allow you to really pinpoint the depth of cut that you want for your particular project. Right then, so how this machine actually works. Okay, you need to set up the angle you want. In my case, we'll leave it at 90 degrees. Next, we need to establish how low or how high the fence needs to be when you're actually thinking of plunging into your workpiece. Let's say I've set that up as well. Next, the depth of cut needs to be referenced to the specific size of your biscuit. Okay, so let's say that's done. At the front of the machine you got a slot. In that slot there, I hope you can see that there's actually the blade that is making the cut, that is making the plunge itself. In my case, I've got a stop button here. at the top of the machine where, you know, when I press it, it will not spin. I can take off this plastic cover and replace the blade if needed. To operate this machine, you need to hold the top handle like that, and you move forward the whole body of the machine, okay? And it just plunges like so. And you'll be able to see the blade sticking out like that. Now, usually with this tool, you want to make the cut more or less in the middle of your board, so the biscuit goes just in the middle like so. However, in some cases, if the biscuit is too shallow or too close to the top, what will be the top of your project, what may happen with the biscuit itself, you know, it is made from wood material, usually it's some sort of plywood, and if you add the glue, which is adding some moisture to it later on during, you know, the years that pass, it may create a dip where the biscuit is, as the biscuit itself will have different properties when it comes to moisture absorbance. So it may not cause some dips in the top of your project. So sometimes you want to actually place the biscuit a little bit lower from the top itself, as for example, if this is a tabletop and that's the top, you know, you're not going to be really too bothered from the bottom of your table if there will be a small dip underneath. However, if it was at the top, then, you know, it will be very visible. So on some occasions, if the stock is relatively thin, you probably want to actually lower it down so you got more material at the top rather than at the bottom. But in most cases, you just want to aim for the middle of your board. Right then, so let's give it a go and I'll show you a few options on how you can use this machine. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do, if you've got two boards that you want to make a panel from, for example, like these, first of all, you need to mark where the slots will go on both of the pieces of your wood. Now, one tip to remember here. If you're making a panel, okay, make sure to leave enough space from the edges, so from the end of the panel on either side, that when you're going to be trimming it to the final size, you will actually not cut through and reveal the biscuit itself in the timber. So for example, also if you want to later on cut the panel in half or smaller pieces, make sure to leave the marks, you know, where the biscuits actually are, so you don't cut through the biscuits and, you know, you're gonna just ruin your work that way. So that's one important thing to remember. Okay, so we've got the two marks just over here, and on the machine you actually do have this indicator where you are with, you know, where you're going to be actually making the plunge itself when you're going to be making the cut. Okay, so, you know, it's very easy. You just line that up with the mark that you did. Okay, you've got another mark just over here, so that marries up with that, so you know, you're not going to go wrong with that. However, one thing to remember is that you need to make the reference from this fence, okay, from that, not from the bottom of the machine, okay, but from this fence. Why do I say that? Sometimes, you know, if the piece of your wood, of the panel or whatever you're going to be making is actually not thick enough, what will happen as you rest it on your workbench, that fence will be higher than the wood itself. So just a quick thing to do, make sure to put it on the edge of your table and just reference the fence like so, that the bottom of the machine is actually not resting on your table. Okay, clamp it down and let's make a cut. So again, make sure that the distance from the fence to the slot you're going to be making is, you know, accurate and it's exactly where you want it in your board. Make sure you set up to 90 degrees or whichever angle you want. Plus make sure that you've set up the depth stop to the size of your biscuit. And when you do that, you can make the plunge. And there you go, we've got the slot for the biscuit. Now the fit of the biscuit needs to be fairly good. If it's too loose, then it's not going to work correctly. But mine is perfect, and I'm going to cut the rest of them, and we're going to join this board. And there you go, it's a nice aligned panel ready for glue up. However, as mentioned, making panels is just one of the things you can do with it. So for example, if you want to line a board in this way, there's no issues with that at all. What you do with the fence of the machine, you just change the angle on it, like so. And now we're ready to make the slots for this particular setup. And there you go. And as you can see, it's actually quite simple to use this machine. You can obviously put this board in the middle as well. So if you are making some shelving units or boxes that's got some inside dividers, it's absolutely perfect for that. Obviously, make sure to have some sort of a fence for the machine, so it's not going to be sliding on you, or it's going to be in the spot that you want it. Okay. But that's the basic principles about this machine. Now, apart from these, obviously you can use it for miters, bevels, anything you really want to, help you align the work. Especially if you're making a miter boxes, anything like that. This is actually very helpful to, hold the whole construction together as you're gluing up and as you are putting clamps on it. So it is a very handy tool. And also it's a great help if you're making large glue ups, for example, for tabletops, anything like that. It is actually a very good tool to use. Now in the internet, there's a lot of debate on, is it actually adding extra strength to the joint? I've seen some of those videos as well, and it seems that it's not actually adding major amounts of strength to it. If you need strength in the glue up, in making the panels or the joint itself, probably loose tenons, the domino would be better, or even better and cheaper, dowels. That would be the perfect combination there. However, these machines are actually not very expensive, and it will definitely help you in making your projects. I'm going to drop a few links to some of the machines, recommendations from myself. You can find those down below in the description. As I say, fortunately enough, they actually don't cost a fortune. Now, there are actually other ways of using this machine for different types of projects, and if you want, drop me some comments down below. If you want some extra things that this machine can do, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll try to make a video on it. And also, if you're actually using one and you've got some really good tips or suggestions on, in what other situation you can use this machine, please share with us your knowledge, your information. That's what the comment section below of this video is for, to share the knowledge and information. However, today's video is just a basic overview of this machine. If you want to have more in-depth information about it, or as I said, some tips and tricks on how to use this tool, that may come in the future depending if you want it or not. If today's video was some help to you, you found it informative, drop me that like button down below, and please subscribe to my channel as well so you won't miss any of my future content. However, for today guys, that's it. That's the basics of this tool, and for today that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.